Welcome to the NTSC 5 and 5 series, where I, Ashwin, Krishnan, host amazing tech leaders on Standout in 90 Sec. Today, my guest is Donna Kidwell. Donna is the Deputy CIO and CISO at Arizona State University. Questions to her. In the changing environment of a university environment, which is very unique, how does she go about strategizing, responding, and adapting to this constantly changing environment? With her customer base of students and faculty from so many different geographies, economic, and cultural backgrounds, what have been some of her learnings about how to adapt and manage cybersecurity and privacy practices? The single piece of advice she would give to an aspiring CISO, and two really personal questions. Watch on. So, Donna, it's been said managing a university environment is similar to managing a city with security issues, privacy issues, health aspects, student loans, etc. How do you go about managing that in this constantly changing environment as a CISO?
Oh, I love this question, and thank you for asking. I think I'd add in to everything that you just mentioned, like a dose of academic freedom. I not only want this safe and secure place for students to do their things and all of the student data, but we also have to create an environment that's incredibly welcoming to a lot of cutting-edge research that brings in intellectual property challenges and all sorts of threats. I think the biggest thing, and this isn't just in higher ed, but for CISOs of the future, is really thinking about how do we build consensus? How do we engage our community? How do we as CISOs understand all the different activities that for me are happening across the university? In the cities that you're talking about, city CISOs have the same kind of things. I think we have to be really intentional about how we outreach and how we hear and actively listen to the communities we're serving.
With your diverse customer base, which includes students and faculty from different regions, geographies, cultural backgrounds, economic backgrounds, what have been some of your learnings in terms of what works and what's been most effective?
I think we underestimate how incredibly adaptive humans are as creatures. We see something that we think makes sense, and as soon as folks understand what that is, we adopt it readily. So things like MFA for all, really thinking through how we protect endpoints, like these things are hard, especially in highly distributed environments where there's a lot of autonomy like mine. But once people understand why you're asking them to do something and hear that you're trying to reduce the amount of friction that it's going to cause them while keeping them safe, it's pretty straightforward to get people to buy in. It's all about communication. It's all about really being with the folks that you're serving and really listening to them.
Switching gears to what advice would you give to an aspiring CISO if he or she wants to get into the higher ed field?
Oh, well, I'd say come on board. The higher ed field is amazing. We're certainly never bored, but you get to protect almost every aspect of something that's out there to protect. We also stand as kind of role models for how a student should have a security experience, how a researcher should think about a security apparatus to protect their work. So it's not only a neat place to do amazing work, but to also figure out some really neat role models that other institutions can play. So I warmly welcome people from really diverse backgrounds. My own background is a history major. I think we need to open up our minds to what kind of backgrounds and capabilities come into this work, and then bring with it a lot of curiosity, a lot of eagerness to really solve the big challenges that are in front of us.
Switching gears into really short personal questions. What's your one biggest regret and why?
Oh, that's an easy one. There are times where, and it shouldn't be too surprising that as a risk professional, I would think a lot about risk, but I probably could have taken risks in my career faster. And I held on, I was just trying to kind of think through, is this the right thing to do? And I think in my heart of hearts, I kind of knew what the right things were to do. So I'd say, making decisions faster when I was in my late 20s and early 30s, probably.
And last question, what's your proudest achievement and why?
That's a tough one because there's so many things and so many teams that I've been honored to work with. I would say, though, the work here at ASU is just absolutely amazing. In the 3 years that I've been in this role, we've insourced our security operations and created very new models for workforce. Those workforce models have really literally changed the face of who we're working with on our teams and are measurably, I call it inclusive impact. Who do we include at the table and how strong is the impact that we're having? It's really beautiful to see the work that we've done here. And then in the last year, we've done a lot of work in AI, really thinking through how do you give 177,000 students guidance as to being really good custodians of what AI brings us. So this team and this work has been a real honor to be part of.